Welcome back, my mathematicians. Today, as you can see in my anchor chart, I have crossed out the word addition, and we're going to practice some subtraction with place value. Now, I left us the same anchor chart and 120 chart so that we can see what we've done before and see how much work that we've accomplished. But we're going to try some new numbers, and we're going to try to subtract by 10. You guys did a great job adding by 10 with the numbers 56, 7, 32, and 88 with me yesterday. You also did a great job with your independent work for numbers 87, 58, 1, and 15, adding 10 to those. But today, we're going to see if we can subtract. Now, the same way that we did yesterday with our addition, we're going to work through it like that with our subtraction. Our first number today is a really big one. Don't be scared because you're super smart. Our first number today is 100, guys. Now, 100 is an easier number for us to do because when we think about it, if we've been doing our spiral review, we automatically know what number comes before 100 if we're counting by tens. So let's count by tens together really quickly so that we can just get another practice in. All right, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. We counted by tens all the way to 100. Now, if I look at my anchor chart and I circle the number 100, and I look, if I want, I could count backwards. But sometimes that gets confusing on a 120 chart because you have to go the opposite way. You know, we read from left to right. But when we're subtracting, we need to go from right to left and back, okay? So we could also use a tens and ones chart. So, my number is 100. That means that I have 10 groups of tens. Later on at some point, we'll have another section in our chart that is for hundreds. It'll look like this: hundreds, tens, and ones. And I will have a 1 there, a 0 there, and a 0 there. But for today, we're just going to put 10 groups of tens. It's still equal to 100. And we know it's 10 groups of tens because when I just counted on my finger, I had 10 fingers up. So I'm going to put my 10 groups of tens and my other 0. When I put that back together, it's the number 100. But I want to take away 10 this time. So I'm going to put my 10 there, my 1 in my tens place, and my 0 in my ones place, because that shows the number 10. If I have 10 and I take away 1, what do I have? Right, I've got 9 fingers left up. So now I have 9, and I just bring down my 0 because 0 minus 0 still equals, you guessed it, 0. And that gives me the number 90. I knew you smart mathematicians would get it. But another way that we could do this is by using our 120 chart. If I look at my number 100, and then I just look up 1, because just like down 1 was adding 10, going up 1 is taking away 10. And it brings me right back to 90. We could also put 100 in our head, and we could count back. But some of those ways, if we start to subtract more than 10, it's going to take us a very long time. So we want to get in the habit of doing it in groups of tens and looking at that number that's in the tens place. So for a while, you may have to write it out like this, and that's okay to help your brain get used to processing it this way. But you're going to build up that muscle memory and be great at this pretty soon and be able to do it just like that. Our next number is 17. So I'm going to look over here, and I've got 17. And then if I look 1 up, I go right back to that number 7. Okay, mathematicians, our next number to give a shot with subtraction and place value is the number 33. Now remember, when we're using our 120 chart, we just look right above the number that we're looking at. So if I look at 33 and I look right above, it's the number 23. So taking 10 away from 33 gives me 23. And if I want, I can count back to check my math because we should always do that. So let's count together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Remember, when you're doing subtraction, you're working backwards. So you're going to go back as the numbers get smaller. Remember, addition means the number get bigger and subtraction means the numbers get smaller. Our last number is the number 42, okay? So if I look at 42 and then I want to say, what will the number be if I subtract 10 from 42? I'm going to look right above again, and you guessed it, it's 32. So I can check my answer by counting backwards again, going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I can also check my answer by putting 42 in my 10s and 1s chart, and I know 42 means that I have 4 sets of 10s, 4 groups of 10s, and 2 groups of 1s. And then I'm going to take away 10. So remember, when we do this, we're always starting in our 1s column. 2 minus 0 equals 2. And 4 minus 1 equals 3. I knew that you mathematicians would get it. Tomorrow we're going to do a little bit more practice with our addition and subtraction for place value so that by the end of this week, we are pros at it. If there's something that you're not understanding, never fear. We'll have lots of practice for you guys at home, and please make sure that you're always doing your spiral review to keep those other skills that we learned earlier in the year fresh in your mind. I'll see you great mathematicians tomorrow.